Good morning, everybody, on this bright, beautiful, sunny morning in February. We are having a little bit of warmer temps, but our overnight lows are still below freezing in the 20s. So it's not spring yet, but it is time for me to start preparing my vegetable garden so that it can start regenerating itself and be ready when the time comes that we do plant. So you can see at the end of last season I should say, I did take all of my plants, pulled them up, and you're seeing mostly tomato plants and zinnia plants that I pulled up, and instead of throwing them away or putting them in the compost bin, I actually have been doing this for a couple years. I put them down over my soil. So here in the high desert, because we don't get a whole lot of rain, things don't break down. So you guys who have compost bins that things break down within months, it doesn't happen here. So we have to help it along. But in the winter months, I'm not especially good at coming out here and watering because I have to do it with a watering can because we have all our hoses put away because we do get very cold temps and we don't have our hoses hooked up. But this is what it looks like now. And so what I do this time of year is I do go through and I just step on it to try to break up some of this stuff. Try to break up some of the plants so that they can break down a little bit easier. And I know this may seem silly to some of you, but it works. It's how I do things. And it does break things down after they've been sitting, and they've had some snow on them. So they've had some water this year. We've actually had some moisture in January and in February, so that's been good. But I'm just going to go through and just kind of break up some of these plants. And then my next step is I will come out here with a watering can first and get this really wet. And you can also see, you can see on this other side that I do the same thing, a smaller area. Although I don't want to mess with this area because I have onions, garlic. You can see my onions down there, there's some there. And here I have lettuce. And so I don't want to mess with those areas, but I will go around them. So what I do is I don't have access to composted manure except at the store. And I mean, I go to a big box store and buy composted steer manure. And this is the time of year that I start spreading it out on top of all of these beds just to give them some more nutrients and help the soil break down and just help the soil get some of its nutrients back. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. I only bought 3 bags this time, just so I could do this one side. I will go back and get more bags of the composted manure at another time and do this other side over here. So my next step Now that I have all of the composted manure down over this bed, over all of the composted, not quite composted, but plant material that I put on the ground last fall or winter, I will now water it in again. And this just helps everything to compost even more. But I have been doing this for a few years now, and it really does work nicely and help me get some good soil that's ready and primed for planting in the spring. All right, now that I've got that watered in real well, it's ready to continue to decompose and prepare for the spring planting. Now, before I plant anything, as you can imagine, what I will do is come out here, see if there's still some pretty large sticks, and some of these probably won't break down before then. I'll pull those out, or the other thing I do is I basically dig them into the ground. So I loosen up the soil underneath, dig them into the ground, and let them compost underneath. And that has worked too in the past. So while I'm out here, I am going to go and trim my coreopsis that are in my pots, my blue pots on our dining patio. So on the way there, you can see there's my Russian sage, and I'm still not trimming them. I know a lot of people have already started trimming their Russian sage. I actually wait until our temperatures are warmer, and I cut them back pretty far. As you can see on the very bottom, they get very woody and thick, and so I cut them back to about that point because I don't want them to have woody stems that are really long and tall. I want them to be new branches, and this will grow this big. Let me back up so you can see how big this thing is. So that's a 6-foot wall. So you can see I cut it all the way back, almost all the way back, maybe 6-7 inches above the ground, and it grows that much in one season. So I have no worries that I'm destroying it. I've had these for many, many years, so I understand how Russian sage works. So that's what I will do, but I wait. It still has a few little seeds, and some of the birds like to eat on them. So I want to leave that as long as possible so that I can give the birds some food. And we have different birds that come at different times of year. And so it's another way for me to be able to watch the different birds come in and let them enjoy some of the seeds that remain. So here we go over to our coreopsis. And this is what I will be trimming today. So these are the coreopsis, and they're perennial, and I have not trimmed them back yet. I let them go through the whole winter, but I'm going to go ahead and do that now. If you remember them from last year, I did a short on the power of deadheading, and these were what I was showing in this bright blue pot. They're bright yellow, they look really pretty, but I have not trimmed them back this year, and that's what I'm going to do right now. So you can see now that I've trimmed them way back that there's lots of green in here. And of course they've been sheltered by the plant itself, the dead part. And so probably what I'll do, even though I removed it and I just stuck it here temporarily, I will probably break all of this up into smaller pieces and put it back on top of this just as a protector, because like I said, we are still getting down into the 20s at night, so I don't want it to freeze. So that's all there is to it. I hope you have days like this where you can get outside and enjoy working in your garden and look forward to spring. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.